Imagine a world where powerful empires are swallowing nations across Africa, the Americas, and Asia. In the midst of this, one island nation stands firm: Japan. Waves of change crash against its shores, but Japan does not fall. This is the story of how Japan, facing the threat of colonization, chose its own path and changed history. Picture cherry blossoms drifting past ancient temples, a land with a unique culture and centuries of peace. For generations, Japan remained isolated, a hidden jewel in the Pacific. But the world was closing in. Steamships and cannons were at its doorstep. The question: could Japan, with its samurai and traditions, withstand the industrial might of the West? The ships that arrived were not friendly. They were a warning that the world was changing. Japan had to adapt or be conquered. This is not just a story of politics or war, but of people, leaders making impossible choices, engineers racing to learn, citizens adapting while holding on to tradition. Japan's journey is a reminder. Even against overwhelming odds, a nation united by identity and purpose can forge its own destiny. It's a saga of a country refusing to be a background character in someone else's story. The world watched as Japan faced the storm. Would it survive or be swept away? What happened next would inspire generations. This is the story of the island that stood alone and won. Let's begin. To understand Japan's story, we need to see the world it faced. In the 1800s, the age of imperialism was in full swing. European powers like Britain, France, and Spain raced to build empires, seeking resources and global dominance. Their industrial revolution gave them steamships and powerful weapons, letting them conquer vast lands with ease. Colonization redrew the world map, often crushing local cultures and traditions. From India to Indonesia, nations near Japan lost their independence. The empires were now at Japan's doorstep. Japanese leaders saw the pattern. Those who didn't modernize were taken over. The choice was clear: adapt or disappear. Japan could no longer ignore the threat. The same ships that conquered its neighbors now appeared in its harbors. The world was changing fast, and Japan had to decide its fate. Would it resist or be the next to fall? Japan's first defense was its geography. As an island nation, the sea acted as a natural moat, making invasion difficult and costly. History proved this. Kublai Khan's Mongol fleets were twice destroyed by typhoons, the legendary kamikaze, or divine wind. Mountains and forests covered most of Japan, making it a nightmare for invading armies. This rugged terrain allowed defenders to ambush and resist, turning the land itself into a fortress. For over 2 centuries, Japan enforced sakoku, strict isolation, keeping foreign influence at bay. This policy brought peace and unity, letting Japanese culture flourish. But isolation couldn't last forever. As Western powers advanced, Japan's natural barriers bought it precious time. The question was, would that time be enough to prepare? The world was closing in, and Japan's fortress was about to be tested. The stage was set for a dramatic transformation. The real battle was about to begin. For centuries, Japan was shaped by the samurai, a warrior class bound by Bushido, the way of the warrior. Loyalty, discipline, and honor defined their code, creating a stable, unified society. The samurai spirit meant Japan would never surrender easily. When the West arrived, they faced not scattered tribes, but a nation forged by centuries of discipline and unity. Even as swords gave way to guns, the samurai legacy endured. Their values became the backbone of modern Japan: loyalty to nation, readiness to sacrifice, and fierce resistance to foreign rule. This spirit united the country in the face of danger. The age of the samurai was ending, but their influence would shape Japan's response to the world. The warrior's resolve became the nation's shield. In 1853, Commodore Perry's black ship shocked Japan awake. The message was clear: modernize or be colonized. In 1868, young samurai and nobles overthrew the old regime, restoring Emperor Meiji and launching the Meiji Restoration. Their urgent goal: enrich the country, strengthen the army. Japan sent missions abroad, learning from the West but adapting ideas to fit its needs. Factories, railways, and schools sprang up. A modern army and navy were built. The samurai class was abolished, replaced by a national army open to all. In just a generation, Japan transformed from feudal society to industrial power. Unity and discipline fueled this rapid change. By the late 1800s, Japan had not only avoided colonization, it was becoming a power in its own right. The world was stunned by Japan's speed and determination. The island fortress had become a modern nation. Modernization was only half the battle. Japan had to face the West on its own terms. The Meiji leaders targeted the unequal treaties that humiliated Japan. To prove itself, Japan adopted Western laws, institutions, and even fashion. The message: we are your equals now. At the same time, Japan began to act like an imperial power, defeating China in 1894 and shocking the world. These victories forced Western nations to treat Japan with new respect. By 1899, Britain and others ended the unequal treaties. Japan had mastered the rules of global politics, using imitation and strategy to secure its freedom. It played the great game with skill and patience, rising from outsider to equal. The world now saw Japan as a serious power. The island that once stood alone now stood tall. Japan had changed the balance in Asia. The West could no longer ignore it. Why didn't the great empires conquer Japan? Timing played a key role. The West was busy elsewhere, and Japan wasn't a top priority. Rivalries between Britain, France, Russia, and the US meant no single power could act alone. Japan's leaders exploited these divisions, playing the powers against each other. The Meiji Restoration's speed caught everyone off guard. By the time the West looked again, Japan was too strong to conquer easily. Invading would mean a costly, bloody war against a modern nation. Japan also opened its markets, giving the West what it wanted: trade, not war. There was no urgent reason to invade. Japan's clever diplomacy and rapid modernization made conquest unnecessary and unappealing. The island survived by outsmarting the giants. It was a masterclass in strategy and timing. Japan's rise sent shockwaves through Asia and the world. Its victory over Russia in 1905 shattered the myth of European invincibility. Asian nations under colonial rule saw hope in Japan's example. Leaders traveled to Japan, eager to learn how to modernize without losing their identity. Japan proved that modernization didn't mean westernization. But as Japan grew stronger, it began building its own empire, colonizing Taiwan, Korea, and more. For many, Japan became a new oppressor, not a liberator. Its expansion set the stage for future conflict, including World War II. Japan's legacy became complex, both an inspiration for freedom and a warning about the dangers of power. The nation that resisted colonization became a colonizer itself. Its story inspired and cautioned the world. The East had a new power, one that would shape the century to come. Japan's survival was a blend of culture, strategy, and luck. Geography gave it time. Samurai discipline gave it unity. The Meiji leaders' bold choices and willingness to learn from the West made all the difference. They blended Japanese spirit with Western technology, creating a modern powerhouse. Clever diplomacy and fortunate timing helped Japan avoid war until it was ready. The nation's destiny was shaped by its response to crisis, not just by history or geography. By holding on to its soul while embracing change, Japan kept its freedom. It's a timeless lesson. Unity, adaptability, and vision can defy the odds. Japan's story is one of survival, transformation, and the power to choose your own path. What stories of survival inspire you?